It's time for Film-o-rama!
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 6 of Film-o-rama. I'm Logan Marks.
I'm Sam Baxter.
And this is a show where we talk about one streaming movie and one episode of a TV series. So join us for the good, the bad, and the ugly of streaming entertainment. So this week we're going to be talking about HBO's The Visitors and Netflix's The Graven. So how you been, Sam?
You know, I've been all right. You know, it's still been hot around here. It's pretty hot, and you know what's also hot is you hear about Alex Jones having to pay that money to the Sandy Hook family.
I just saw that today. I haven't really been keeping up on it. But you know, I used to love Alex Jones back in the day.
Oh, I did too. The 2000s, I really liked him a lot.
Yeah, and he was really good. He was entertaining.
He was a man for the people. He was a man for the people back then. That's how I felt.
Yeah, like back then he would go and try to like call out politicians. And it was
he would uncover things.
Yeah, try to uncover things, and it wasn't just like left or right. It was like he would actually try to uncover just bad politicians.
Exactly, and there was plenty of bad politicians.
And then like conspiracy, and he had a lot of conspiracy theories. Yeah, and a lot of stuff like he came out with was like it was crazy at the time.
It was right on,
but he was right on a lot of times.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
I liked him.
Yeah, I used to like him, and for some reason like. If I see him on some sort of like podcast or on a show,
we got to stop and watch it.
I will stop and watch it because it's like a train wreck.
It is. Yeah, he goes pretty crazy.
It's like I remember the last couple times he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, which has been a long time. But
nuts. Yeah,
when he was on there, and he was on there for like 5 hours. I think that was
he
longest.
just yelling. Yeah, he had to keep taking it. He's like, I gotta take a piss, and he wouldn't go. Remember?
And then like he was like, and it was like normal, and like as it went on, he started going into like the interdimensional beings and stuff, and he was just getting crazy, and you're just like, yes, I'll take more of that.
Yes, exactly. It was good, but I think kind of when you lost me with that Sandy Hook stuff. Remember how you said that was all ploy?
Oh yeah, fake. Like it was what they call crisis actors.
Yeah, that was I kind of. That's what kind of lost me. I was like, I'm not really gonna say that those kids were fake. You know that. I don't know. That's not my thing.
Well, it seemed like the longer he kept doing that kind of stuff, and then the internet kind of broke open, more people started coming out with conspiracy theories. It seemed like the crazier he had to get.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And then he was starting to sell stuff on his website. Like he was always selling like those pills.
I know it, and it showed him like a before and after picture, no difference. Remember, he was supposed to be all buffed.
Yeah, I remember he just like looked like he just turned red.
Yeah, I know. It's like he had an allergic reaction, but he was supposed to be like bigger. I was like,
it was supposed to make him like
same.
buffer and stuff, but he just looked like he just got fatter. It looked like he got worse with the stuff on, but like it was like. But he was trying to sell that, and like that's all he did that's all his website was for, just to sell these fake vitamins and all this bullshit. And it seems like he just like was just saying crazy stuff to get people on there because people were like conspiracy theorists, and like whatever he said they would just accept.
They ate it up.
Yeah, they ate it up, and then they would just buy all his shit.
Yeah, I mean, he had his base, and he catered to them, and they loved it. That's where he kind of lost me. That's when I kind of stopped listening to InfoWars so much. I was like, all right, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I kind of stopped listening around 2008 when he was talking about because when he was describing like the collapse, because he was making it sound like it was like the society was going to collapse and everything.
Oh yeah, buy rice. Yeah, stock up your house on rice. Remember that?
Yeah, and he was talking about like the whole thing was going to collapse, and we'd all be start
dog eat dog world,
eating each other and stuff. But
yeah,
and it turned out it's like it wasn't that bad. But he like, at that point I was just like, maybe sometimes he's right, but I think he blows it out of proportion, just to get people to listen.
It kind of preys on your fears, right?
Yeah, and that's all he was. So I kind of stopped listening to him.
Same here. Yeah, I was like, all right. But yeah, they found him. Like he's gonna have to pay now. The families were asking for like over $100 million. But on this one, they gave they awarded them $4 million, and I think, did you hear about those texts? His lawyer accidentally sent.
I saw some of the video, and they were showing some of the stuff that he was doing, and it was just like you could tell the judge was having none of his shit.
Yeah. Well, usually judges are supposed to be impartial, and they don't, right? They don't let you fucking rule the the court.
I don't think I've ever seen a judge. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a judge talk to somebody like that badly before.
Well, he's used to kind of having his way, right? He's used to saying what he wants and kind of like belligerent and kind of going after, and they're like chill out, motherfucker. Yeah. This isn't your show.
Yeah. It sounded. He looked like he was like a little kid getting scolded all the time.
I know it did.
Like Jeffrey, like get your hands off of there, Jeffrey. No.
Yeah, no. Exactly. Like his hands getting whipped by the ruler. I know. Man, and then you see like videos where they say, "Yeah, your lawyer accidentally sent us the transcript of your text," and they caught him like lying.
Yeah, and you could tell like you could tell like he was like,
he's
what?
Just looking like shit. Yeah, he's questions. I know. That's what the no entiendo inglés probably work.
Oh yeah, I saw that piece of video and I was just like, oh my god, that's.
I know he had like nothing to say.
That's like 100%. I mean,
he's trying to like backpedal and stuff. Yeah. I was like, oh man. I don't know. But of course, if you go to a show, he just keeps talking about how he's the victim.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to do that. Like, as soon as he gets back on the street, he's going to talk about how they forced him to say all that stuff and that he didn't really mean it.
Or they're taking things out of context. Yeah. And it's like, man, the fucking video shows you saying this or that, right? So, anyway, it's been interesting. I guess I'll kind of keep going and watching what they say about it, Like you said, when Alex Jones is on the news, you kind of can't help but stop and look.
I just kind of forgot about him, and I just because there was like I listened to a like one of those YouTube news things, and it just kind of popped up yesterday about it, and I was like, oh what? He like I didn't even realize that the trial was going on until like I saw that yesterday. Then you talked about it. Before we started the podcast, and then and I don't know, you said you were listening to like some other podcast about it that was giving you all this information on it.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out. What was that podcast?
You should. What's that?
What was that podcast again?
Oh shit!
Is it like I think you said knowledge fight?
Yeah, knowledge fight. These couple guys talk about it. It's really good.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like I said, they go really in depth. Like I think they're actually sitting there at the trial and they're actually like watching it, and they get to experience like what he's doing and his mannerisms and the way he's crazy. It's pretty good. Yeah, and like I said, it's for people who really want to know what's going on. I just found this podcast like today, so I just started listening to it. But it's give it a shot.
I really, now that you told me that, I'm excited to listen to it.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to.
It's good.
As soon as since I heard about it yesterday, I was like, man, I got to know more about what's going on. So
I know
I'm eager to listen to that podcast.
I'm eager, but I'm not eager to watch a show. Does that make?
Oh no, weird? I just want to hear all the craziness that's going on in the trial. Now that I know that's happening.
I like listening to it's crazy. I do enjoy that. But I just don't believe it. I'm sorry, I don't. Not anymore.
All right, we probably should get going with the podcast.
All
right. So the first thing that we watched was Visitors, and this one that you brought up you wanted to see.
Yep, so, on HBO Max.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about it.
So this is this character named Richard's first day on the police force, and at nightfall, two strange lights collide in the sky. So this is basically a science fiction show. It's in French, right? But there's English, dubbed. Mm-hmm. I like this sort of thing. You know me. I like all this weird, crazy shit.
Yeah, you're pretty normal
and I found, and I found like the juvenile humor to be pretty lame. Like the episode was pretty boring. The first one. The good thing about it was the show was pretty short. It's 28 minutes usually runtime. It's not like an hour. A lot of the other shows.
Yeah.
So if you're bored, you don't have to waste a lot of time watching it.
I realized that like it was super quick, and
it felt quick, right?
It felt like super fast, and it almost felt like it wasn't long enough to get me excited, or get me like into the story.
So I felt like the first episode like establishes the characters and the plot, which is fine, right? It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't exciting, but it was okay. Like the humor, juvenile, pretty dry. I was curious though about it. I wanted to know more about it, so I ended up watching the whole series. And I got to say though, the overall story arc is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The writing gets better. Like I said, there's a few episodes with it, none of that juvenile humor is there, and those episodes are actually really good.
Yeah.
They're actually
is
really
it more
really
dramatic
good.
then?
There's certain episodes that are.
Okay.
And again, like I said, there's a couple that don't have that dry, juvenile humor, but and those ones are really really good. The overall story is good. I like how they had the two characters like Skolda and Molly. Remember those guys in the suits? The guy in the
yeah.
I kind of like, all right, kind of homage to X-Files type shit. Those two characters are iconic, Skolda and Molly. So, but I did find it, like I said, I found it got better, and the storylines got better. Certain episodes were really really well done. I enjoyed it, but that's because I kept going. Now, if I was just gonna watch one episode, and I don't like this type of stuff, then this probably isn't for you, for the type of listener, right? It's not going to really entice you. But if you like stuff, paranormal, UFO type, mystery type stuff, it does get better. But going off the first episode, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, I did not like this movie, this series,
Okay.
and I only watched the first episode because like. I don't know if it was because of the dubbing that made it harder. Because the dubbing was really bad.
I know.
And
kind of what you get with dubbing.
Yeah,
right?
so I don't, because there's sometimes you can watch the dubbing and it's decent. Like you don't really, it doesn't really call attention to itself.
Mm-hmm.
But this one did. Like it was like I don't know if it just made the conversations really awkward and weird, or just it made the writing feel really crappy.
Mm-hmm.
But the editing, the dubbing on that just really didn't help it at all.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff that was going on, and that it was really juvenile funny, but it was almost to the point where it's like stuff.
It's kind of annoying.
Really, stuff that wouldn't really happen. Like they're just doing that because like the TV anchors were always talking shit about people that they're talking to on air. Like stuff like, who would do that? You would get fired. It's like
I think it was more like they were just playing on that the anchors were just kind of over the top, stupid.
Well, I don't know if it was like because it was such a small town that nobody gave a shit.
I know, huh?
Or something like that. But then again, it felt like it was. I don't know if it was like it's supposed to be like an American town.
No, I don't know. I mean, it seemed French, right?
It's a French film, but it felt like it was like they were trying to make an American town, and they just thought. Like, these are what Americans are like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe parody.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. They was like, this was the French think of like what American town is like for real. It's like, it wasn't a parody. Like, this is how they actually thought how stupid we are.
Could be.
And so it's like watching it, I'm just like, this is dumb. There's then like there's the scene where he shows up to that crime scene or wherever, and the two cops like come up to him and they start frisking him and they start like hassling him on it because it's the first day because he's a new guy. But they're like actually, it seems like they're actually thought that he was like some criminal, even though he was wearing the uniform of a cop, and they knew that there was some new guy coming.
There's a did you I don't remember the first episode they talked about him being
and it was like he was the son of the dad who was like the sheriff or whatever.
The sheriff that went crazy, basically. Yeah. But if you watch more, they delve into that.
But they act like they didn't even know him. Did they get into that?
No, I mean, I think they were just giving him a hard time because who he was.
I don't know. It's just the way they.
I know. It was weird.
Yeah, and it just feels like everybody was just stupid or like an idiot.
I know. I know, like you said, it could have been any town USA where all Americans are stupid, or
and I think that kind of confused me too. And then there's like the guy in there. He goes into the bar, and there's a guy like basically assaults a police officer. Mm-hmm. It was like some kid that he knew in high school or something. And then I was like, really? He's just gonna do that to somebody, and the cop's not gonna use like his authority or like he's basically assaulted a cop. And
it was a bully from his past.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, look, I'm a cop now, so I have authority. Why?
I know. I know. I thought that was seem kind of weird too.
Yeah, it was just things like that just kind of annoyed me.
Yeah,
and being that it was so short, and they were trying to get. They were trying to get like everything going. They really didn't even get to the paranormal part at that point.
No, they didn't.
Even at the end of that, it wasn't even really.
There wasn't very much yet.
Much as a paranormal. It's just I don't know.
No.
But like I said, maybe if I kept watching, it would have got better. But that first episode did not make me want to watch some more. Yeah, it was hard for me to watch more.
That's fair enough. Like I said, I gave it more just because I wanted to see, kind of where it went. And I was, like I said, it was a good twist. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't let down on the series.
Oh, yeah.
Again, the beginning episodes kind of slow, kind of weird, kind of odd. I could see why people wouldn't. I understand why you don't think it was that great. It's totally makes sense. But like I said, for weirdos like me who put up with that kind of shit, it was worth it.
Yeah, and it didn't get that bad of a rating. I mean, for what it is, it got like a 5 out of 10, a little over 5 out of 10 on like IMDb
did it?
and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
Okay.
So it must get better down the road. I'm assuming
it does,
but I don't think it gets.
Does.
I don't think it gets good enough for me to care to keep going to watch.
Yeah, I get that.
But, so like, what would you rate it?
Out of 5, I would give it I think because the stories were actually interesting later on, I'd give it probably a 3.
3.
I'd give it a 3.
I was thinking more like a 2. Like,
okay.
Like I wanted to like it. Like going in, like I was like, okay, I should like this.
Yeah.
The concept sounds amazing, and
yeah,
it sounds like something I would be interested in. But it's like the more I watch it, I was like, I like dumb humor, but it was too forced.
I know.
It just felt too forced.
It was juvenile. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that great.
So yeah, I'd give it a 2 out of 5.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
So what did we watch? What movie?
So the movie we had this week was on your favorite streaming service.
Yeah, Netflix,
which is The Gray Man.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this one?
I thought this movie was like nonstop, pretty much action, but I know it was over the top. I wasn't taking this to be like some like storyline that was supposed to be like win an Oscar for its creative writing and all that. But I found it to be pretty. Like I was kind of checked out. Like I was watching it, and I was like, "All right, cool." And then like I felt like the movie was like an extra hour than it should have been. I was like, "Fuck, man! Like, why doesn't this end?" And like some of the scenes were too dumb. Like Ryan Gosling was like a robot. He just kind of acted like you see like some of the fights. I was like, "Is this the Terminator?" Like, like he'd get hit and he just like wouldn't even like.
I know, like
even budge.
I agree with you. Like at the beginning, it was like, okay, this is kind of good. Like he's actually fighting, and like it's almost like normal fighting,
Mm-hmm.
But like it kept the further it went on, the more it became like Looney Tunes kind of action.
Yeah,
where like they can just do all kinds of amazing stunts without getting hurt.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, what the fuck? And he was just like I said, he was just taking all these hits, and it was just like all he was a guy who had been plucked out of jail and trained to be a killer, and they made it sound like he was like half synthetic, half human,
Yeah,
like,
and like they didn't even show like any of his training.
No,
or like not even like, oh yeah, there's a special drug that they give him. Nothing like that.
No, like you don't even know what kind of training. You just knew that he had killed somebody.
Yeah,
when he was younger, and that was it.
Yeah,
and then like he was supposed to be protecting the niece, and there was this backstory was just pretty weak with her. I was like, yeah, does he give a shit? And it's like, oh, they're gonna show it, and it's like, oh, that's it. Like okay, like besides keeping little girls safe, which I understand that's the right thing to do, but you made it sound like they have like some special type of history, and I was like, like okay, like whatever. I don't know. I found myself like there's certain parts where I was just on my phone playing, even when the action scenes were on. I was like, fuck, like come on, like
yeah,
like I know the budget was like like $200 million, but
you could tell they spent a lot of money on the budget on the action.
Yeah. And some of the CGI was kind of dumb. I just like the editing. I didn't think it was that great. Like some of the fight scenes. Now, thankfully, it wasn't like Jason Bourne. Those movies where the camera's too close and you can't see shit.
It was a little better than that.
I like it that it was the full frame, and you can see the fights again. You can tell the editing though. You can see where they probably fucked up and stuff, and maybe they should have spent more time on their practicing their fighting. But it wasn't all that great. I just felt like it was just they tried to be like kind of comical, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
All 007 was taken. That's why I'm 6. It's like, okay.
It was weird because there wasn't like a lot of great dialogue. It was just a bunch of one-liners throughout the movies. Yeah. And
I just didn't care.
Yeah, the way when I watched it, it took me 3 times to try to watch this movie.
Wow, 3 times. Okay.
Yeah, like I would watch it and I'm like, okay, I'm not like I was like I know I have to watch it. And I'm the one that I want to see this because basically a lot of people were talking about it, saying how great it was, and I was like, I want to see this, but for some reason, it took me the first time. I was like, okay, I'll do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then like the next day, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to do it. And then pretty soon it was like, I was running out of time, and I was like, I just barely watched some of it this morning.
Oh, really?
I barely finished it this morning.
Yeah, I watched it last night. I was like, fuck, I better watch this because we're gonna talk about it. I was like,
but like, I towards when I actually sat down and watched it, I did enjoy it.
Okay.
But there was like, I just said, okay, I'm just gonna get down and watch it and just take what it is, which is I'm not gonna expect anything from it. I'm just gonna fucking watch it because I know for what I saw the first couple times, I know this is just a dumb action movie.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, it just reminded me as if though like someone took all the 80s, 90s, and like the Die Hards,
just put them all together.
Yeah, and just like mashed them all together and said, okay, we're gonna just try to make the best, or
with today's CGI.
Yeah, we're just gonna glue all this shit together and make a movie that's all action and no substance.
I feel like they try to woo you with all their like nice travel like locations, but I like didn't give a fuck.
I know, and there were like locations like every 5 seconds. There was like Hong Kong, Korea,
Vienna, fucking Prague.
Yeah,
like fuck, man.
Like every 5 seconds, or like somewhere else. I was like, what's going on?
I know, it was just, and then the scene. Remember when they were in Prague and there was like that big shootout and he's handcuffed, and it was like he had like Alpha Squad, Beta Squad, like Charlie Squad. Like he had like 4 squads and none of them could shoot him, and he was handcuffed to that.
Yeah, he was handcuffed to the bench, and like nobody could hit him from there.
And they're like, "Come on, somebody shoot him!" And like nobody could get him. They're like, there wasn't even that many cops out there. It didn't feel like, and those guys were all fighting with the cops. I was like, really? Like,
and they had all that situation, and there was no snipers.
No, nobody could get him. Like he was fucking unhittable.
Yeah,
it was like I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. I just like you said, when they kept jumping, the tonal shifts were just off. The villains, like, I didn't feel like what's his name, Chris Evans, as Lloyd Hansen. I didn't think he was that great of a character. They're supposed to make him look crazy. But
really, I kind of liked him.
I don't know. I felt like he could have been better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they tried to make him too funny. Like in that last show we were just talking. I feel like they tried to like force him to be like just over the top, and I just like
yeah, because
he just kept getting away from everything, and when he got tranked, they didn't kill him right there. Remember?
Yeah.
It was like the cliche type of thing. Like the bad guy has you cornered, and somebody saved you. All right, let's get out of here. It's like just fucking shoot him right there, and he's done. You know. Game over. And
there was a lot of somebody died to like. There's like the cliche of like, oh, I got a grenade and go ahead and take off.
Yeah,
and they did that like 2 times.
I know.
Like 2 times. Why? Like that's something you save and you do once if you can do it in a movie.
I know. Yeah, I know.
You don't like do that cliche like 2 or 3 times and then through the movie. And
I know.
And at that point, I'm like, okay, he's gonna kill himself to save. I'm gonna sacrifice. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think we saw this just like half hour ago.
I know. And then he gets behind the guy, and of course he takes no damage. Even those grenades like 3 feet in front of him, and he takes like no damage. I don't know. I just felt like, and then like we said, the character development was none.
No.
So I just. So I didn't really care about anybody. I didn't care about Billy Bob Thornton. I didn't care about Six. Ryan Gosling. I really didn't care about like any of them. Even the girl that I didn't mind was that secondary girl that Denny Miranda. Remember that chick that was helping him. The girl that was the short hair that was with him at the beginning, and she was with him throughout the whole movie. She's the one that tranked the bad guy.
Oh, the Anna de Arma, or
yeah,
Anna
that. Yeah.
Oh, she was gorgeous.
She was pretty good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
She was the only thing that kept me going through.
I know.
Like every time she showed up, I was like, okay, I couldn't keep my eyes off of her.
Even though her haircut was shitty, she's still pretty hot.
She was still beautiful. Like I had to look up like what other movies she in. Because I don't remember in other stuff, but for some reason, like she just looked gorgeous in this one.
Yeah, man, she was with them in Blade Runner.
You know, Blade Runner, I tried watching that one, I couldn't.
That's a slow one too.
It's very slow, yeah.
But we won't talk about that. But anyway, I felt like she was pretty good for the movie. Again, no character. We don't know anything about her. Maybe we're not supposed to, but at least the main characters, we don't know anything about them.
The only person I actually liked was the Chris Evans character.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of, I don't know. I know you didn't like him, but I thought there was times where he was like too comical to be the villain.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why I felt like okay, that's why I said like the last show, it kind of like put too many of those things in there. It's like I don't need that.
Yeah, and then when like he's gonna fight him at the end where they fight each other, where they do the boss battle, I'm like, well, who cares? Because he's obviously not as good as 6. And then when they fought, it was that was the case. You know, like
yeah. Like I know
there wasn't any point at where I was like, oh man, 6 might not make it. Like I knew he was gonna make it to the end.
Well, remember when he pulled out the knife and then he was getting him, and then he was like stabbing him like all kinds of places.
Yeah, and he was like nothing.
And he was still that's what I'm saying. He was all like robotic, like no big deal.
Yeah, they kind of made him like, well, I mean, he would get injured, but they kind of made him a Mary Sue, where he was like, oh, I could do everything, right? Like and so. Like he doesn't lose, or like he never like there was a time where like he fucked up big time, and then like you're like oh like maybe he might not make it, and so it brings suspense in. But he was like perfect in every way.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He was like that's what I'm saying. He was like a robot. Yeah, he was like a Terminator.
Yeah,
he was like there was no way to like you basically couldn't stop him. He got stabbed so many times, and he just kept fighting. Like really, that wasn't gonna like. Make your arm like be able to not swing it as well.
Yeah.
It's like he got stronger. It's like fuck. Like okay, that's like I said, some of that I didn't really care. Like I said, that's why some of the fight scenes and action scenes I just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was just on my phone sometimes.
Yeah. For what it was like a dumb action movie that was it was really well shot, and there's a lot of good production in it. So like for what it was, if you sit down and you just like shut your mind off and just do that, it was good. I liked it. But for anything else, I don't think I wouldn't have given it that great of a rating. Like it was like an average action movie for me.
With a big budget, man. Fuck.
Yeah, with a huge budget.
Yeah. So what would you rate it out of 5?
Out of 5, I think I'd probably give it like a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I said, I still ended up liking it because there was like I did like the Lloyd character, even though he was kind of robotic. Because I knew what it was like. He was gonna fight everybody, and like I liked the fight scenes. I knew he was he was like I didn't worry about him losing, but it was still good to see. I liked watching a fight, and I liked watching the Dana character because she was amazing. She was she had some pretty good fight scenes too. So, like I said, I enjoyed the action and the visuals, but other than that,
I was also gonna say, like how he's supposed to be like kind of like not incognito, but kind of invisible, right? As a hitman and stuff, and he was wearing like that bright red suit for a lot of the movie.
I know.
Remember that?
And then like everybody knew who he was.
I know. Hey, what's up, Six, my man?
You're a legend, and like, why is he? Yeah, like nobody should know who he is because he's like.
I know, right? Yeah, there's no books. Remember, there's like no file on him or nothing. They all know who he is.
Yeah, everybody knows him.
Yeah, it's like shit. Oh man, the cast was good, money was good, story sucked, visuals, were good, but I like I said, I barely could finish this. And the only reason I finished watching this because we were going to talk about it.
Yeah, today. Same here. I probably like if we weren't talking about it, I would have probably watched like the first 10, 15 minutes and probably been on my phone the whole time and never watched it again. Yeah.
I would give this like a 1.5, and that's just because of the cast was good.
Yeah.
Other than that, and like everything else, like fuck, man, like I just couldn't. I had a really hard time with this.
Yeah.
Like I paused it a few times to like go take a leak, and I even thought about like taking a leak and not even pausing it. You know.
And it did feel a little longer because like you think, okay, this is the end, and then it just kept going.
Just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, fuck.
It's like, no, we're not. Like, no, it's not.
And you know, I checked the time and it's still like an hour and 20 minutes. I'm like, fuck. Like I feel like so much has happened and there's still more to this shit. Like, it's like, fuck. Yeah, I don't know, man. 1.5, I'd give it.
Yeah. It felt like it could have been a Die Hard if they kind of gave you more about the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have felt more like the first Die Hard, and then they kind of made him a little more weaker, where he's because it always felt like he had more power than the villains.
I know.
Like there was like no doubt that he was gonna win.
I know.
If they would have made it like like a Die Hard where like you're like, oh shit, is he gonna make it through that? Or
yeah, I know. Yeah, you felt like he was really suffering.
You felt like the underdog. He felt like the underdog in the
But yeah, Bruce Willis was suffering in those movies. He was going through a lot of shit.
Yeah, but it feels it felt more like the last Die Hards.
Yeah,
where they made him like superhuman and like
I know.
It's like, oh yeah, I've been through this before. I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like nothing can hurt me.
Yeah,
I'll get shot and I'll fucking keep going. I know. This one. I feel like I said. I feel like Billy Bob Thornton and Chris Evans. They were just wasted. They just felt like their characters were wasted. And Gosling, I've never really seen him totally as a like superhero type guy. So it was to me. It was kind of new for me.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't like him. Like I don't think he couldn't like have not pulled it off. I just feel like his character was just shit. The writing was shit. So
yeah. Well, I
won't watch it again, and I think there's going to be a sequel, so I don't...
There'll probably be a sequel, because I guess I did really well on it. And it got like a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
So far. And I know...
it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and then I know, like, I know a lot of people, like, the critics really didn't like it, but I guess, I mean, for what it was, a lot of people liked it. It was been watched, and it's well received on Netflix.
Okay. Well...
So
I'm sure there'll be a sequel.
I'm pretty sure they'll get something. Hopefully they won't spend as much money and pay for more for character development.
Shit. Fuck.
All right. So what are we gonna watch next week?
So movie next week is Prey, that Predator movie series.
Prey.
It's on Hulu.
It's a series or it's a
no? Sorry, it's a movie. It's
okay.
It's a Hulu movie, but I'm talking about the Predator series. You know how there's been a bunch of different movies: Predator 1, 2, Aliens vs Predator 1, 2, right? The Predators, this is another movie in that whole genre series. But this is supposed to be like a prequel, like way years ago, hundreds of years ago, I think.
Oh, and it's on Netflix?
It's Hulu.
Hulu.
It's on Hulu. And it comes out tomorrow, I believe. But when this releases, it should be out.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of excited to see that. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, 300 years ago is when it's supposed to be, so...
Is it going to be like Cowboys versus Aliens?
I never watched that.
It was really bad.
Everybody told me that. I just never got around to watch it. One day I'll watch it. But
you should watch it because it's like it was actually ridiculously bad. So it probably
was
be fun.
Really?
Yeah, it'd probably be fun. I don't remember a lot of it. Because
everyone told me how bad that was.
But I'd probably like to watch it again just to see how bad it is, and it'd be fun to watch with like your friends, just to joke around it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll watch it down the road when we do like maybe do like a classic movies or older movies.
Okay. And what show?
You're gonna kill me for this one.
What?
It's a chick. It's gonna be a chick series.
Oh, fuck.
I wanted to do something a little different. Something. It's
all right,
it's called The Summer I Turned Pretty on Amazon Prime.
Oh shit.
I figured that'd give us a lot to talk about.
Oh my god.
Who knows? We might like it. I don't want to watch this, but I thought maybe for the podcast we'll do something that we don't usually watch.
And that's on Amazon Prime, you said?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Fuck. All right.
It's only a series, so it's not like a full movie that I'm torturing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll give it a shot. Yeah, like you said, man, I might fucking just love it.
Yeah, you'll be like, you'll all embarrassed to tell me. Yeah.
Oh, so good. I watched all of them.
You're wearing a T-shirt and shit for it.
I know. Can't get enough.
Can't get enough of this. All right. So we're gonna take off. We'll see you guys next week, and everybody have a good week.
All right, everyone, be safe. Talk to you later. Bye.